So we are here with Hannah Lee, former Ashland University women's soccer goalkeeper. But Hannah, let's start with what you're doing right now.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be able to catch up with you. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But currently, I work at the Cleveland Browns. I'm the manager of youth and high school football, so overseeing any youth and high school football development in Northeast Ohio, and then in Central Ohio as well.
And let's face it, being a Browns fan, you're basically cutting an entire swath of Northeast Ohio. So when you're talking about youth football, having that passed down from generation to generation, I'm sure that's a pretty big task.
It is. We have a lot of support from our leadership and ownership group here, and we have a great team as well. So we're able to impact a lot of kids. And I know the YMCA in Ashland, they're an NFL flag program, so we have had some conversations with them and gotten them involved. So.
And for you, let's take you back to high school days. Obviously, you're close to your hometown, Westlake. Came to us from Magnificat High School. So what was the process like about becoming an Eagle?
Yeah, it was awesome. I enjoyed my experience at Ashland. Went to Magnificat High School, played soccer there. Actually had a really low GPA coming out of high school. Really wasn't prioritizing my grades like I needed to my freshman year of high school. So kind of spent my last 3 years trying to work my way back and get my grades up. Ashland was really the only school that took a shot on me. So I was a preferred walk-on at Ashland, earned a scholarship my sophomore year, and then was the starter from sophomore year all the way through my senior year. So I had a little bit of COVID in there as well. So that was a little different to navigate, but had an awesome experience at Ashland. All my best friends were my teammates, and we still keep up, and everyone's kind of moved on in life, getting married, having kids. So it's kind of cool to see that the Ashland was our home and we're able to, beyond that, still have those awesome relationships.
And we will get to that surreal COVID period here in a second, but you mentioned being able to starting with your sophomore year, and you are a big part of what has become, ever since you left as well, this long-time run of Ashland women's soccer making NCAA tournaments. So what was it like for you and your teammates to be that successful and kind of restart that history of being NCAA teams?
Yeah, I think my sophomore year, I can't remember how long it had been since we made NCAAs, but it was cool to kind of be part of history there and now see the success that the soccer program has had, being able to go back and watch games. I was a volunteer assistant for a little bit. So it's just awesome to be able to give back to that next generation and see them succeed. We even have like our current girls, we'll text in a group chat of like, hey, they're making Sweet 16 or whatever the case may be. So it's cool to be a part of that and see that success continue.
You mentioned COVID, so that was a very interesting time for all of us. But then, your senior year, you play it in the spring of 2021. I remember that vividly, having to work fall and spring at the same time. That was not any fun. But for you personally, at least you were able to get a senior season, even though it wasn't what you would have liked to have.
Yeah, it was definitely different, especially, playing in college. You're so used to that fall season. And then in the winter, you do a little off-season workout. And then the springtime, especially your senior year, you kind of get to, enjoy being a college student, hanging out with your teammates and, doing some things that you maybe didn't get to in the fall because you were in season. But for us, we didn't really get that experience too much. We didn't know if we were going to have a season or not. So we spent the fall just kind of practicing, doing inter-squad scrimmages. But it was nice to be able to come back from winter break kind of knowing that we would at least get, that last hurrah and be able to have that season, even though it was just that GLIAC conference at the time. I know you guys have switched over to the GMAC, but we still got to do like inter-conference games and have that tournament. So it was nice to have that last season with my teammates.
And you being a goalkeeper, and you mentioned keeping up with the team. The team is the last year it was 19 shutouts. This year I don't remember how many shutouts it was, but it seemed like every game we go out there, you're almost shocked when they give up a goal. So you being a goalkeeper, how exciting is it for you to see the team doing what it's done the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm sure the goalies get a little bit bored back there, but it's always a good problem to have when you don't have too many shots on you. And I've gotten to know some of the goalkeepers over my time as well, going back to the campus and speaking to students, being part of the program a little bit. So honestly, just super happy for them to see the success that they've had. And hopefully that, continues as they graduate and move on and kind of figure out what they want to do with their careers.
Absolutely. So for yourself personally, you graduate after that COVID season, and then now you're with the Browns. What were some of the things that you did in between those two?
Yeah. So I was actually planning on coming back for my COVID fifth year. So I was fully planning on coming back for that 2021 fall season. ended up just needing a summer internship. So I applied for this youth football, internship at the Browns. It was for the summer. Didn't really know too much about it, but knew that I loved the game of football and I loved being around kids. So applied for it, got it. And about 2 weeks into that internship, I fell in love with it and decided that I didn't want to go back for my fifth year. So ended up working for the Browns. I got extended for that season as an intern. So worked the whole 2021 season. And then ended up getting hired full time in January of 2022. So didn't really have too much of a break there, but I found like a career that I loved and was able to get full time and been promoted since then. So went straight into youth and high school football and have been able to do some really awesome things since then.
Were you a Browns fan growing up?
I was, yeah. I grew up 20 minutes from downtown. So it's cool to be in my hometown and be able to impact a lot of the communities that I grew up in, especially like a lot of those high schools that, you played against all growing up and things like that. And my whole family's here as well. So it's nice to be home and spend some time with them as well.
You've probably never done anything frustrated during a Browns game like I did when I was a kid, when I bounced the attachment from the sweeper and it hit the TV. You've never done anything like that being frustrated, have you?
No, I haven't.
No, but good. That's just me then. You mentioned your family. Go ahead and brag on your family a little bit and how they've helped you along the way in all of your career in soccer and then with the Browns.
Yeah, no, they've been instrumental. They're the big reason why I do what I do. Just playing sports all growing up, you have a certain mentality of work ethic, discipline, and things like that. And it's really helped me in my transition working, full time in youth and high school football. And then obviously just being in like an office environment. We have a lot of non-traditional hours. So working, really early mornings, really late at night, a lot of weekends, holidays. So to have their support is really awesome. And you see the transition from soccer into working full time in sports. And you can kind of tell who in the building and who you meet, who's, played a college sport or some type of competitive athletics. So it's helped me a ton, and my family's been really awesome in supporting me. When I have to be up at 3:30 in the morning for a camp or I'm working till 2 a.m., they're the ones that kind of ground me and keep me level headed.
Sounds like athletic communications.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, Hannah, this has been an absolute joy to get back in touch with you and find out what you're doing. We always like to end these Eagle Rewinds the same way. If you've got someone parent, junior, senior soccer player who's thinking of coming to Ashland, what would your sale pitch be?
Oh, man. I think a big reason why I chose Ashland is not because of the coach or anything there, but it was because of the school itself. It was a school where it was small enough where you got to build community and have really great relationships, but it was big enough that you didn't know every single person going to class. It had, the major that I wanted. It had that small college feel that I wanted. So I would just encourage kids that are looking to, go to college and, find a four-year institution to pick the school based on what it offers as opposed to maybe the head coach that's there. Because coaches leave so often, but, find a school that you love and that has everything that you want.